I'm so glad you're here with us today. We're diving deep into A Course in Miracles, and if you're just joining our community, you might be wondering what this course is all about. I'd love to invite you to check out the very first video on this channel, where I break down exactly what A Course in Miracles is, how it came to exist, and why it's been transforming lives for over 5 decades. It'll give you the perfect foundation for everything we explore together here. Now, today we're exploring something truly extraordinary from Chapter 7, Section 9, the extension of the kingdom. And I want you to take a moment and think about this with me. Have you ever felt like you're supposed to be doing something big, something meaningful, something that matters? Maybe you've looked around at your life and wondered if you're really making a difference. Perhaps you've asked yourself, am I living up to my purpose? Am I contributing enough? Am I giving enough, loving enough, being enough? If you've ever felt that weight, that pressure, that sense that you should be doing more to make the world better, then what we're about to explore today is going to shift something fundamental in how you understand your role in the healing of this world. Because here's what the Course is telling us in this section. You don't have to create the kingdom of heaven. You don't have to build it, manufacture it, or make it happen through sheer force of will. The kingdom already exists, completely whole and perfect. Your only function is to extend it. Now, I know that might sound abstract at first, but stay with me, because this is where it gets beautiful. What if I told you that simply by accepting love, peace, and truth into your own awareness, you automatically extend it to everyone? What if healing your own mind was the most powerful gift you could give to the world? What if your purpose wasn't about doing more, achieving more, or proving more, but simply about removing the blocks to the love that's already present within you? This is what Section 9 invites us to understand. It's teaching us about a completely different way of seeing our creative power. Most of us have been taught that we create our reality through action, through effort, through making things happen in the world. And while action has its place, the Course is showing us something far more profound, that our minds are extending constantly, always creating, always sharing what we believe is real. The question isn't whether you're extending something. You already are. The question is, what are you extending? Are you extending fear or love? Are you extending the ego's illusions or the Holy Spirit's truth? And here's the remarkable thing. When you understand extension the way the Course teaches it, you realize that giving and receiving are actually the same thing. When you extend love, you don't lose it. You strengthen it in yourself. When you extend peace, you experience more peace. When you extend forgiveness, you feel more free. This isn't about sacrifice. This isn't about depleting yourself for others. This is about recognizing that your true nature is so abundant, so overflowing. That extension is simply what happens naturally when you're aligned with who you really are. So today, we're going to break down exactly what the Course means by extension, how it differs from the ego's projection, and why understanding this principle might be the key that unlocks everything else you've been learning. We're going to explore what blocks extension, how to remove those blocks, and what it actually looks like to live as someone who extends the kingdom naturally, effortlessly, joyfully. Let's begin. Let's start with something that might completely change the way you think about your spiritual journey. The Course makes a crucial distinction that most of us have never considered: the difference between extension and projection. And understanding this difference is absolutely essential because your entire experience of reality depends on which one you're doing. So what's projection? Projection is what the ego does. It's when you take what's inside your mind, usually something you don't want to look at, something uncomfortable, something you're judging or afraid of, and you throw it outward. You project it onto other people, onto situations, onto the world. You see your own guilt in someone else's face. You see your own fear reflected in circumstances around you. You take what's internal and you make it seem external. The ego projects because it wants to get rid of what it doesn't like. It wants to disown it, deny it, push it away. But extension? Extension is something entirely different. Extension is what happens when you're aligned with your true self, with the Holy Spirit, with love. Extension doesn't push anything away. Extension shares. It overflows. It naturally expands outward because that's simply the nature of what's real. Love extends. Peace extends. Truth extends, not because you're forcing it to, but because that's what these qualities do. They're abundant. They're limitless. And when you accept them as true about yourself, they flow through you to everyone and everything. Here's what the Course wants you to understand. You cannot extend what you haven't accepted. This is crucial. If you don't believe you're worthy of love, you can't truly extend love to others. If you don't accept peace in your own mind, you can't share real peace with anyone else. Extension always begins with acceptance. It begins with you recognizing what's true within yourself first. And this is where so many of us get it backwards. We think we need to give to others even when we're empty. We think we need to sacrifice ourselves, deplete ourselves, prove ourselves through endless doing and serving. But that's not extension. That's exhaustion. That's the ego masquerading as spirituality. True extension happens when you're so filled with the awareness of love, so connected to the truth of who you are, that it simply flows outward without effort, without strain, without any sense of loss. The Course tells us that the kingdom of heaven extends from your mind. Not from your actions alone, not from your achievements, but from your consciousness. When you accept that you are already whole, already loved, already complete, that acceptance radiates. It extends. Other people feel it even when you're not saying a word. Situations shift even when you're not doing anything visible. This is the power of extension. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you extend, you don't lose what you're giving. You strengthen it. When you extend love, you experience more love. When you extend peace, you feel more peaceful. When you extend forgiveness, you feel more free. Extension is not about loss. It's about increase. It's about recognizing that what's real cannot be diminished by being shared. In fact, sharing is how you prove to yourself that it's real. So the question for you today is simple but profound. Are you projecting or extending? Are you pushing away fear and guilt, hoping someone else will carry it? Or are you accepting love and truth, allowing it to overflow naturally from your awareness? That's where we begin. Now let's talk about something that might sound radical at first, but once you truly grasp it, everything changes. Your mind is not passive. Your mind is not just observing reality. Your mind is actively creating your experience in every single moment. And the Course is very clear about this. You are a creator. Not because you're trying to be, not because you've learned some technique, but because that's what minds do. Minds create. That's their function. That's their nature. But here's where it gets interesting. You're always creating, but the question is, what are you creating with? Are you creating with the ego or with the Holy Spirit? Are you creating with fear or with love? Because those two thought systems create completely different experiences, completely different worlds. When you create with the ego, you're actually engaging in what we talked about earlier, projection. The ego looks at its own fear, its own sense of lack, its own guilt, and it projects that outward. It creates a world of scarcity, a world of attack and defense, a world where you have to protect yourself because threat is everywhere. The ego's creations are always about separation, always about making differences real, always about reinforcing the idea that you are small, limited, vulnerable, and alone. And because your mind is so powerful, when you align with these thoughts, you experience them as real. You feel attacked, you feel lacking, you feel separate. But when you create with the Holy Spirit, you're extending. You're allowing love to flow through your awareness and create experiences of connection, peace, wholeness, and joy. The Holy Spirit's creations are always about unity, always about recognizing what we share, always about revealing the truth that we are already whole and already home. And when you align with these thoughts, you experience them as real too. You feel loved. You feel abundant. You feel connected. Here's what the Course wants you to understand. You cannot lose by giving in the kingdom. This is one of the most revolutionary principles in the entire teaching. In the ego's world, giving means losing. If I give you something, I have less of it. If I give you my time, my energy, my resources, I'm depleted. The ego operates on the principle of scarcity. There's only so much to go around, and if you get more, that means I get less. But in the kingdom, giving and receiving are identical. When you give love, you receive love. When you give peace, you receive peace. When you give forgiveness, you are forgiven. Why? Because what you're extending is not something outside of you that you're handing over. What you're extending is your own awareness, your own consciousness, your own recognition of truth. And every time you recognize truth, you strengthen it in your own mind. Think about this practically. Have you ever noticed that when you genuinely extend compassion to someone, you feel more compassionate? When you truly forgive someone, you feel lighter, freer, more at peace? That's not a coincidence. That's the principle at work. What you extend, you keep. What you give, you strengthen in yourself. This is how the kingdom operates. The ego will tell you this is dangerous. The ego will say, if you give too much, you'll have nothing left. If you love too freely, you'll be taken advantage of. If you forgive too easily, people will walk all over you. But the Course is showing you that this is backwards. The only way to experience what you want is to extend it. The only way to know you have love is to give it. The only way to feel abundant is to share from your abundance. Your mind is creating constantly. Right now, in this moment, you're creating your experience through what you're choosing to extend. Are you extending fear or love? Are you extending judgment or acceptance? Are you extending the ego's illusions or the Holy Spirit's truth? That choice is always available to you, and that choice determines everything you experience. You are far more powerful than you realize. So we've established that extension is your natural function. It's what you're designed to do. It's what happens automatically when you're aligned with your true self. But if that's true, then why doesn't it feel automatic? Why do so many of us struggle to extend love, peace, and forgiveness? Why does it sometimes feel like the hardest thing in the world to simply be kind, to simply let go, to simply allow love to flow through us? The answer is simple but profound. Because there are blocks. There are obstacles in your mind that prevent extension from happening naturally. And the Course identifies these blocks very clearly. They are fear and guilt. These two emotions, more than anything else, shut down your ability to extend the kingdom. They close you off. They make you contract instead of expand. They make you withhold instead of share. Let's talk about fear first. When you're afraid, you go into protection mode. You build walls. You defend yourself. You hold back because you believe that giving will leave you vulnerable, exposed, or depleted. Fear tells you that the world is dangerous, that people will hurt you, that you need to guard what you have because there isn't enough to go around. And when you believe that, extension becomes impossible. How can you extend love when you're terrified of being hurt? How can you extend peace when you're constantly on alert for the next attack? Fear blocks extension because it puts you in survival mode, and survival mode is all about protecting what's yours, not sharing it. Then there's guilt. Guilt is even more insidious because it attacks your sense of worthiness. Guilt tells you that you don't deserve love, that you're not good enough, that you've done something wrong and now you need to pay for it. And when you believe you're guilty, you can't accept the kingdom. You can't accept peace. You can't accept love because somewhere deep down, you believe you don't deserve it. And remember what we said earlier. You cannot extend what you haven't accepted. If guilt is blocking you from accepting love in your own heart, then you have nothing to extend. You're trying to give from an empty well. But here's the beautiful truth that the Course offers us. These blocks are not real. They're not permanent. They're not part of who you truly are. Fear and guilt are simply mistaken beliefs. They're thoughts you've been thinking for so long that they feel true, but they're not truth. They're illusions, and illusions can be released. They can be healed. They can be undone. So how do you remove these blocks? The Course teaches that healing your own mind is the most powerful thing you can do, not just for yourself, but for everyone. When you heal your mind, when you release fear and guilt, when you accept love and innocence as the truth about yourself, something miraculous happens. That healing extends. It radiates outward. Other people feel it. Situations shift. The entire energy around you changes. You don't have to heal everyone else. You don't have to fix the world. You don't have to save anyone. Your only responsibility is to heal your own perception, to remove the blocks in your own awareness, to choose love over fear in your own heart. And when you do that, the extension happens naturally. You become a healing presence simply by being who you truly are. Think about the people in your life who feel peaceful to be around. You don't have to understand why. You just know that when you're near them, you feel calmer, lighter, more yourself. That's extension. They've removed enough blocks in their own mind that love flows through them naturally, and you feel it. You're healed by their presence without them even trying to heal you. This is what you're being called to. Not to become a perfect person, not to achieve some impossible standard of holiness, but simply to be willing to look at your fear, to look at your guilt, to bring it to the Holy Spirit and say, I don't want to carry this anymore. I'm willing to see this differently. That willingness is all it takes. That willingness opens the door for healing, and that healing extends to everyone you encounter. You are meant to be an extender of the kingdom. You're meant to be a conduit for love, for peace, for truth. The only thing stopping you are blocks that aren't even real. And today, right now, you can begin the process of letting them go. So here we are at the end of our exploration today, and I hope something has shifted for you. I hope you're beginning to see that your purpose isn't about straining and struggling to create something that doesn't exist. Your purpose is simply to accept what's already true and allow it to extend through you naturally, effortlessly, joyfully. You are not here to build the kingdom. You're here to recognize it, accept it, and let it flow. You're here to remove the blocks of fear and guilt that have been keeping you contracted, keeping you small, keeping you from experiencing the magnificent truth of who you really are. And as you do that inner work, as you heal your own mind, you become a healing presence in this world. Not because you're trying to be, but because that's what happens when love is no longer blocked. Remember this: what you extend, you strengthen in yourself. Every moment you choose love over fear, every time you choose peace over conflict, every instance you choose forgiveness over judgment, you're not just changing your own experience, you're extending the kingdom. You're being exactly what you came here to be. If this video resonated with you, if something here touched your heart or opened your mind in a new way, I'd be so grateful if you'd take a moment to give it a like. It helps more people find this content, and it lets me know that these teachings are serving you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We're here every single day, exploring A Course in Miracles together, going deeper into these profound truths that have the power to transform everything. I'd also love it if you'd share this video with someone who might need to hear this message today. Someone who's been feeling the weight of trying to do more, be more, prove more. Someone who needs to remember that their only function is to extend what's already whole and perfect within them. And please, leave a comment below. Tell me what landed for you today. Tell me what you're taking away from this exploration of extension. Tell me about your experience with removing the blocks to love in your own life. I read every comment, and I love hearing from you. This is a community, and your voice matters here. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for your willingness to learn, to grow, to see things differently. Thank you for choosing to be an extender of the kingdom. I'll see you tomorrow with another deep dive into the Course. Until then, extend love. That's all you're here to do.